a manager's house or something.
Yeah, right, and we're going to begin. So,
Do you want to start again?
we can carry on from there.
Yeah.
So I've said to you about how, the different ways you can experience football. So if I said to you as well that if you take in consideration televised football is a media, it's a media form which enables more people to enjoy it. What do you think of the fact that after that game, you can't actually experience the game unless one, you manage to catch it on the following day, say through Sky Sports, or two, you manage to take advantage of the BBC's Match of the Day, and then following that, the fact that it's non-existent after that, you can't explain the content. Do you think that's right?
It's obviously, I think it's all good, to be honest. Like it's improved since the days of you only get a Match of the Day. I mean, you could watch Champions League during the week. You never was able to watch Champions League.
But I mean, what I'm saying is, so you can watch it in the now.
Yeah.
Which is almost like it's geared towards. So you've got. Would you say that you've got the pre-hype beforehand?
Yeah.
But what it's great that you can actually experience it then. But do you think that it's suffering because actually, just for example, this weekend, the game yesterday, Man United, unless you caught it the game, which was on that day, you've watched it at the game, you will no longer be able to experience it now. You can't go back on and experience it, do you see what I mean?
I see what you mean, but at the end of the day, it's still improved things. Like with these sort of things, people will be able to see the referee's mistakes, for example, and.
But what I'm talking about the mistakes. What I'm talking about is just the general whole of it. So what I'm saying is, so it's great that you've got now a wider audience that can indulge in the game. But what I want to say is, if it was more accessible in the sense of, okay, so you've seen the game, you can see it at a particular moment in time in the now. What about after? Just for example, unless you get selected highlights that may be repeated on, say, for example, Sky Sports News, fan blogs, BBC reports, newspaper reports, and in that sort of media form, you can still find out about the game.
Yeah.
But you can't actually experience the game because it's not there, because it's restricted. Do you see what I mean?
I see what you mean. Obviously, you're not going to have the same experience that you have watching it live, because you're just not going to be indulged in it, because you can't get involved in a match that's a minute and a half long. You can't get wrapped up into it, whereas you can even at home in a 90-minute match. Say Champions League like last night.
So like shouting at the television screen and.
Exactly, you can't do that in highlights of Match of the Day. Well, I mean you can, but you're not into it as much.
So would you say then on that what you've just said that the reason why the television companies, Sky for example, won't continue to televise the games is because they happen in the now, and actually you've got all the information you need following that? Is that what you say? That for example, once you've got the result, you may see that they'll show you the highlights a couple of times. They don't need to. Is that what you're saying?
No, not at all. I think fans want the highlights, don't they? Everyone wants to see the highlights.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you miss this amazing goal, then you're going to be really annoyed, obviously. So I think it's a good thing. Obviously, it's as we've said that there's not going to be no atmosphere. But we still want to see these highlights, no matter in what form.
Yeah. But then, would you say, following that, do you reckon people would be just as happy not watching the whole game? So just say, for example, Sky Sports, rather than televising the whole game, they didn't allow you to watch the game at all. And then what they did is they provided, say, following the game, immediately after, a extended highlights of 10 minutes.
Okay.
Where they choose the best minutes.
What would they have instead then? Would they just have another match, or would they just not show
I was just saying, if we just thought about the fact that they just didn't have it and then they just literally just showed you the best bits. Because the only reason I'm saying that is, the highlights after are to give the fans the best bits. The people who didn't pay the money to go to the game, pay the money to watch the game through a television subscription, or might have missed it for any other reason, or may have watched it on radio and stuff like that. And obviously a visual form of communication in football anyway is always better than an audio form of communication. So so obviously if that's the case, why wouldn't they then just, if for example they decided after that 10 minutes of highlights is sufficient after, why would they not give you the 10 minutes then?
So, instead of just playing the whole game?
Yeah, instead.
Because people want to see the whole game. I mean, that's why I would have thought at least half the people pay for Sky to watch the whole game.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have Sky. I can just watch I can watch the highlights.
BBC for free. Yeah.
BBC for free, but I'd rather pay the extra to watch the full 90 minutes.
Yeah. So if that's the case, then if people always want, people want to watch the whole game, they want to experience football. Some people might be put off by either the increase in ticket prices, so for example like Arsenal or Man City. Why would you not say that's the case then? Why wouldn't people then go to see amateur games more often?
Because it's amateur. You've got the professional game, which you could either, I don't know, pay to go and watch it, or you could pay a little bit less and watch it live. Amateur, when you watch the likes of Man U and the way Arsenal play football, and then you go on to, I don't know, say Ebbsfleet.
Yeah.
It's so poor. Some of the football is so poor. It's just lumping the ball up at the pitch, and people, you can tell by the crowd that people don't just don't appreciate it because they're used to
appreciate it. Do you think that's because they're so used to it being so convenient? So for example, you can watch, you're saying we can watch it at home. You got your own beers, you got your food and stuff like that. You can invite your friends round. You can watch it on a large television. It's the best view potentially. You don't. The only difference I'd say is it's like the best view and it's the best football. But if so you don't want to pay for it, or wouldn't it just be just as good with amateur football?
I see what you mean. I think you're right with the professional football up to the point where, put it this way, there's no better feeling than being with your mates at a football match. Say even at Ebbsfleet or at Charlton. Beer in your hand, pie in the other hand. There's no better feeling than that.
Yeah.
And with the atmosphere and having a sing, that sort of thing, it makes you feel a lot better than just watching it at home.
So would you say that it's more of a social connection, of an interaction than it purely? Would you say that might be the case more so than people necessarily, enjoying the football? So if I say, for example, that fans will continue to go to watch football even when they lose.
Yeah.
So say for example Aston Villa this season have lost I think 50. No, they've not kept a clean sheet for 15 games. Would you not say that those people are not only doing it just because they enjoy football, but for the social interaction they have around it?
You've got a mix, obviously. You've got loyal fans.
Yeah.
But I doubt many of them go to football on their own. In fact, I'd say a very low percentage go to football on their own.
Yeah.
They go. I mean, they'll meet other loyal fans that they can share the experience with, and then eventually become their mates.
Yeah.
And that's the reason they still go to football despite not winning every week.
So is it like so it's almost by going to watch a game and you're identifying yourself within a group of people. So you're almost not necessarily classifying yourself, but you're making a connection to a group of people that other people don't have, and it's almost like your football, if you will.
Other people have it. You have leisure clubs. You have other sports clubs, tennis clubs, that sort of thing. It's just it's just a unique form. I mean, you probably get it in rugby and cricket, but apart from that, football is that sort of experience is quite a unique one.
Where are you going to see 30,000 grown men sing anywhere else in the world?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, so if I was going to say, so if you say that football is a fan-orientated experience now, so we've got the betting, which is now obviously beforehand was just the game, but now it's it's on live betting, which you have during the breaks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
How much power do you think the fan has in the game? In terms of swaying player decisions, manager decisions, board decisions?
I don't think the fan has power. The fans have power. So if the fans are getting on to the back of the manager, then yes, they have the power. But the singular fan won't have
any
power. Not at all. If a group of fans don't turn up to a game because of ticket price, then that speaks volumes to the club. Whereas if one fan doesn't turn up, and I don't know, say even writes a letter in, goes a bit further.
It's just one fan.
Matter. Yeah.
The cat has ripped several hundred T's. So would you say? So if you say that, let's start again. So would you say that fans? If we're going to say that it's a social thing, that fans in different ways, so they'll make a connection, so they'll invite your friends to watch it at the game, or they'll go to the game. Would you say it's the same fans, if that makes sense? So would you say it's actually, even though they say ticket prices increasing, would you say it's the same fans who are buying the tickets to go to the games are the same fans who are going to buy the television subscriptions? Or do you think it's actually there's more of what you could say like a sofa fan, if you will?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've still got loyal fans that will have a Sky subscription but watch other teams, or maybe even away games of their team because they can't, for whatever reason they can't go. So yes, to an extent, but I would have thought the majority of people that have Sky subscriptions are not going to the games week in, week out. So majority of people, it's two different.
So there's two different groups of fans.
But there's going to be a small percentage where that it counts for both.
Counts for both
types of fans.
So would you say you've got two different groups of fans who go to experience the games?
Yeah.
So if I say, for example, what would you say for do you think, if you was going to describe the typical football fan who goes to the game now, what would you say that would be?
Middle-aged bloke, wife and kids, likes a beer.
Yeah.
With his mates, group of lads, all meeting up, say at the pub before the game, and then after the game as well.
Would you say working class, middle class, upper class?
Working class mainly, but a bit of middle class.
Yeah. Do you think that will change with ticket prices? So, for example, as I just say, for example, Man United, you've got Chelsea, you've got Arsenal, you've got Man City. These four big clubs who have again and again increased the ticket prices. Do you think that's going to affect the mix of fans, or do you think that people continue to pay the money?
I think with the likes of Arsenal, you have more middle class fans.
Yeah.
Or you get the other end of the spectrum where you have more working class fans that pretty much their life revolves around their football club, so they're spending all their money on the football club. I don't think prices will go up, especially with the recent media coverage of
ticket prices,
especially with Arsenal. We single out Arsenal because of their ridiculous prices, and also the fact that they haven't won a trophy in 7 years, something like that.
7 years, yeah.
So I don't think the prices will go up.
Yeah.
Unless it's a team that's going up in the league. So I don't think you'll see a different class of people, different type of people.
It'll be the same people. Yeah. They'll be prepared to fork it out again.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You just made a point there that I've just literally forgot. So would you say So obviously you're a ref as well.
Yeah.
Is there any transfer from these fans who, or if we just, would you make an assumption to say that the people who are going to the games, the people who are paying the subscriptions to watch it on television, are the same people who are playing the amateur football? Or would you say that actually the lifestyle option, which is, I don't know whether you'd agree, a heavy drinking culture, which is within football?
Yeah, definitely.
Do you think that almost means that the people who are indulging in the game are not actually fit enough, who are rather indulging in watching the game, are not fit enough to actually play the game?
No, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, most people will play. A lot of people who are playing amateur football will play both a Saturday and a Sunday game, or one or the other. So, and there's a lot of players that will play Saturday football, so that they can't obviously go and watch their team play. So yeah, I guess you have a small percentage of people that can still play the game. Kids, obviously.
It's more youngster driven, with that aspiration to think that they can be at think they can be at that professional level.
Yeah, youngsters need to go to those games to have something to aspire to.
Do you think that the difference between them is vast? The gap
between
the amateur football and the professional football in terms of the progression? Do you think it's vast, the difference?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. Well, in between Ebbsfleet and some football games I've seen on the Saturday league.
Yeah.
You struggle to see much of a difference because Ebbsfleet non-league teams could be very bad at football, whereas even between some football league and Premiership, there's a massive difference there.
Do you think that that is possible for someone within that amateur league to actually progress up, or do you think that it's just not?
It's very rare, but it's definitely possible. It's very, very, very rare.
Do you think it's the surroundings that affect them? So just for example, if you're constantly playing amateur football and you don't get an opportunity to play against those better players, you're not going to be able to get there.
Of course, but it's up to you as well. These sort of just under semi-professional clubs will hold trial days, and if you're good enough, they're going to pick you.
Okay. So we've gone through all of that about the fans. I've asked you what you prefer doing in terms of football. So obviously you write about football.
Yeah.
You referee games. You officiate games. You obviously watch it as well. What would you say your?
I've always I'd choose playing over all of those.
Yeah.
All day.
Do you think that's almost the ultimate experience of football?
Yeah, absolutely. There's nothing better than playing football. Even better is playing with your mates. I've done a bit of both, whereas I've not played with friends and I've played with friends. I just haven't enjoyed my football.
Yeah.
When I wasn't playing with my friends, and I've had the time of my life when I play with my mates.
So you'd prefer that? So say for example, if you had a choice of, just for example, because as you're aware, when you play in Saturday football or Sunday football, the lower levels, you have to pay your way. Which is kind of like the way it is with football. You pay, to enjoy the game, you have to pay your way. So if you had a lot of difference, say if it worked out to roughly your subscription, if we just said that, say a subscription for Sky is around £20, Sky Sports, and then you've got playing the game every week as well when you sign on for that, what would you prefer? 3 years of football, like playing football, or a years of being able to watch the best football in the world? So let's say the Premier League and Champions League football.
That's a hard one, because the current situation I'm in is where I'm not playing as much and I'm watching it more.
Well, let's just say that if we took that out and we just We put it all square levels.
Yeah.
And you start a new season, and you're
Okay.
given these 2 opportunities.
Would I be able to do both? So would I be able to
One or the other.
One or the other. I'll play it all day then.
Play, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that would be the case on most people?
No.
And why is
No.
that?
It's easier for someone to go down, just turn on the TV and watch Man U against Real Madrid, whereas it's a lot of effort
Yeah.
to get your kit ready, wash your kit every week, wash your boots every week, go out on a Saturday morning when it's freezing cold. I mean, what sounds more appealing, being in your nice warm house watching football, or going out when it's pouring down with rain playing football? Me personally, I can't think of anything better than playing football in the pouring rain. Absolutely love it.
I think that will literally do it for the